Right, I'd like to obviously welcome everyone to our first big show of the new year. I think, you know, we ended 2012 on a really good note. David retaining his Commonwealth and British title. You know, at the level that he boxed at last year, I think was good. The opponents were good opponents. He showed what you do with opponents of that quality by blasting them out, which a lot of other people have done. He's certainly made a name for himself, not only here in Britain and in the world. I mean, the top writer in America nominated him as Prospect of the Year and the man to watch for 2013. And I believe he is. I believe by the end of 2013 we will be sitting here in a position to challenge for the world title, providing we've all done our jobs right, from the training team to my side, to David in the ring, and to the fans, which I think are probably the most loyal bunch of fans in the country up here in Liverpool. That's one of the reasons I find it very hard to take them out of Liverpool. Plus, I like coming up here for the nightlife, so it's quite good. We stay here as long as possible. As I say, we're kicking off the season with a blockbuster show. 3 guys from Liverpool, all fighting. I was going to say for titles, but David is not a title fight. It's his first international fight against a world-ranked American, a fight that everyone's been asking that he should step up and do. And I believe it. You know, it's the right opponent at the right time. After consulting with Franny, the trainer, and David, we've discussed and looked at a number of opponents. We're going to make this year as busy as last year and as much as productive as last year. If we can get a British title defence in so that he can win the Lonsdale belt outright, we will. If we can't, it will be well-ranked opponents from now on. Our aim is to be in that position at the end of 2013 to fight for that world title. The other 2 fights on the bill is the defence of Britain's most exciting young flyweight, Kevin Tatchell against Luke Wiltons from Belfast, which I think Luke has been knocking on the door for a long time, and there's quite rivalry between these 2 guys. There will be a big. I know Swansea's in town on the night, so there'll be a load of Welsh people, a load of Irish people, because he's taken over 300 tickets, Luke Wilton. So, and it's guaranteed not one of them's coming back. So that's a good sign. So that's the British and Commonwealth title fight, and again, this young man, he should be at the end of the year there at the world level, because the flyweights are a little bit easier. They might be tougher actually, champions at world level, but it's easier to manoeuvre a flyweight, and with the help of his manager Steve Woods, I think we'll get that done. The 3rd title, which we've added to the bill after a lot of negotiations, is our 3rd attempt to get a title for this man at the end, Steve Williams. You know, we have a commitment from the board of control. I hope that if Hamilton does pull out this time, we can have there will be a replacement fight. The title will be declared vacant, and that's what we're pushing for, because it's the 3rd time we've tried to get this fight on here in Liverpool. So I think it's got to happen this time. There will be a replacement on the card in case we have to step someone in for the vacant title. But that's boxing. As you all know, the purse bids with Tyson Fury have been put back till February. That was on my request. The reason I did that was the board, in their wisdom, said the fight had to happen by the end of March, but we'd already made this fight and were committed to this fight. And if we'd have won the purse bids, it would have given Fury a chance to say we were going to pull out, because we were committed to this fight. So that fight now will be put out again in February, and has to take place by the end of June, I believe, which is because it's not an indoor fight. There's not a stadium indoors big enough for him to take that fight. It's got to be an outdoor stadium fight. And I don't see anywhere with the football going on that the fight could have happened before that date. With that, I'll just throw the floor open for questions.
David, if this fight will be, would you ask it to show how far you are behind the Klitschko's?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect opportunity to do that. I mean, although my last 2 opponents have been world title challenges in the past, Tony Thompson fought for the world title in July of last year in his last fight. So, he's world level, current world level. So if I can do a number on him and a better job, or as good as a job as the Klitschko, then it'll send a massive message around the world, I think. But I'm not going to be concentrating on trying to outdo Vladimir Klitschko. I'll concentrate on my own game, my own performance, and I'm sure it'll take care of itself. But I think it's a great opponent for me, without a doubt. Whichever way you look at it, he's top 10 ranked with a major governing body, as am I. And in this day and age, two top 10 ranked fighters fighting each other, it's not that often you see it happen unless it's for an actual world title. So, you know, it's a big fight, whichever way you look at it, definitely.
You said more than a year ago that you win the world title inside 20 fights. Is that still your belief?
Yeah, I've got 5 fights to do that, haven't I? I mean, you know, 5 fights, it's definitely achievable. Definitely achievable. This fight, as I said, could propel me into new heights, and then, you know, who knows what can happen after this fight if it can do a good job. And definitely, I wouldn't put it out the question that at the end of the year I'll be knocking on the door to fight for the world title, and it'll be in my 30th year. I'll turn 30 this summer. I'm still young heavyweight. If I can fight for the world title and win it in my 30th year, then I think, you know, we're on the right track, without a doubt. So it's exciting times for me, and you know, I think it's important that I do get this type of opponent to bring the best out of myself. You know, it's a challenge for me to be fighting Tony Thompson, because he's fought at the top. He's been around at the top level. He's been the top 10 as a heavyweight since about 6 years ago. He's stayed there. He's had some good results, and these are the type of challenges I need to bring the best out of myself. And after this fight, all going well, you know, we'll want to step up again, and we'll keep stepping up accordingly. But for me, it's a great challenge.
Dave, you've had a typical frank approach of slowly, but even though you've been boxing regularly, but now you seem ready to step up that extra gear in this year's fights. Yeah,
of course I am. As I said, I mean, you know, the 4 fights I had last year, they were all step ups for me, but it was just the way I dealt with them that they didn't really get viewed as a step up. But really, they were. They give any other British fighter an argument, that's for sure. And I dealt with all of them within about 7 rounds between them. You know, and you know, that says more about me than it does about them. And now we are ready to put our foot on the gas and take it up a notch to the world level. I'm definitely ready for it. And once I get there, I'm planning on staying at that level.
Yeah, I mean, the way it's gone, your confidence must be sky high at the moment.
It is sky high, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself where I think that I can just knock any man out in the world, because at the end of the day, I'm only human. And if it means having to win a fight on points, or, you know, even foul my way to a victory and be a bit of an arse and win it that type of way, you know, I'll take any type of win. But my confidence is high, of course it is, because, you know, I've been blasting everyone out. But as I say, I've got to keep a level head and move forward and just concentrate on what's in front of me, which is Tony Thompson. But it is difficult sometimes not to look at the bigger picture and think 12 months from now, you know, could be on another scale.
Kevin, this wasn't an over protective step that we take. It's a step that you build a fighter that you want to win the world title and keep the world title. Anyone can fight for a world title if you build a fighter in 12 or 10 straight wins. You know, we could have made him for a world title fight next if we wanted to, but the idea of it has always been to be ready to take that world title and win it, not just fight for it like a lot of British fighters like to do. I mean, there's a load of British fighters going to be fighting for world titles, and good luck to them, and hopefully some will win. But they're only going out there to fill up cards. We're going out there to win the world title and bring it back.
Yeah, have you watched the Thompson performance against Klitschko? And presumably, if you have, will you be taking sort of notes on how Klitschko dealt with?
Yeah, definitely, because obviously Klitschko was a similar size and stature to myself. I'll probably look more at the first Klitschko-Thompson fight, where Thompson seemed to be a little bit more at his best, because he did cause Klitschko a few problems. Klitschko was marked up in that fight, and you very rarely see that. And you know, he got him out of there in the 11th round. In the summer, I think Klitschko was a bit more aggressive with him and wanted to get him out of there quicker, and you know, and that's what he's done. But I'll be watching him against Klitschko, but I'll also be watching him against other fighters. He's beat Krasniqi, the German heavyweight, who was a good heavyweight. You know, he's beat a lot of good names, and I'll be watching as much as I can of him, and mostly trying to watch him at his best. That's what I try to do. And no matter which opponent I fight, I'll watch them in the best performance and work towards beating that fighter.
You're looking forward, obviously, in terms of possibly a challenge to one or other of the Klitschkos. I mean, are you hoping they'll still be around when your world title fight does come, or is it a fresh era?
It makes no odds to me who a fight when I do get to the world title level, whether it's the Klitschkos or whether it's someone else. As long as I'm there and I can win the title, I don't care who it's against. I mean, the Klitschkos are great fighters, great role models, whatever, and it would be a massive achievement if you could take a title off one of them. But if they're not there, then you know it's just that our paths haven't crossed, and you know it wasn't meant to be. But I'd win the world title against anyone. I'd fight Kevin Satchel for the world title. I wouldn't complain.
Lose that one now.
I don't think we'll sell that one.
From your point of view, Frank, from your point of view, that is a judgment call, isn't it? Whether you go for a world title against the Klitschkos or you go maybe a step down.
It's a team decision. We sit down and we'll discuss it. You know, I mean, it's if they're the champions, they're the ones we're going to look at. Obviously, whoever's the champion. If it's Tyson Fury, we'll take him. You know, it's true what David said. You know, and I'm looking out there at it. You know, and I know I'm talking about a title fight by the end of this year. Like, looking at it out there, it wouldn't surprise me to see this guy become undisputed heavyweight champion. You know, somewhere in the 2014 by the end of that, and you know, that's another burden I'm going to put on his shoulders as soon as we get a title fight.
Do you feel you're in some sort of race with Tyson Fury?
We're in no race with Tyson Fury. No, we're in the David Price business. Tyson Fury's in his own business.
It must be in the back of your mind, though.
No.
You know,